Yo, what's up, guys? It's D Bizzy. I've been gone for a while, but making a comeback, and we're gonna do a little bit of an interview. We're also dropping another video today. It's a spoken word and acapella spoken word. So I hope you guys go and check that out too. And again, working with RJG, Richard Garrish Productions over here. My man over here. Right?
How are you?
Yup, like that. That lighting is insane. Okay, yeah. All right, so let's get into it. Without any further ado, RJ is going to be asking me some questions. So I'm going to turn it over right now to host MC RJG.
D Bizzy, what's with the absence? Where have you been?
Man, honestly, for a while, I didn't have many resources, and I didn't have many ideas on how to, get more resources in order to get my music out there. I didn't really have a producer to work with for a while, and to a certain degree, honestly, I was lazy with it. Since I didn't know exactly what to do, I just didn't really do much of creating, and that was a mistake on my part. I think I'm definitely meant to be creating and to be talking about things. I think when I talk about things, it helps me to realize things to myself, and also things that I think are important and that can be used that other people can realize, that can be inspiring. We recorded those first couple of videos in early 2017, and that was right after I had graduated from high school the previous summer, and then I've been working at this car place for a while, but that had ended right before the videos. And then I went to work at a camp, Camp Araquina, shout out to y'all. But I worked at a camp that summer, and then I came back. I worked at Chick-fil-A for a while. I worked at camp again the next summer. And then, so I've had a few different jobs in there. Right now I'm a delivery driver for Domino's, using this car right here. So that's where I've been, and I just want to get back into it and continue to learn and keep creating.
So, regarding the music video that you made, Black Youngster, that was a huge hit, right? 1.9 thousand views on YouTube as of today, shortly after Thanksgiving. What kind of momentum do you think you had and then now have lost as a result of taking such a long break?
Well, that whole thing just worked out so perfectly. I wrote that, and then I hit you up to do the video, and we worked on it. I think we worked on it before New Year's, and then we came back to it in January, and we re-recorded the audio, and it sounded good. And then actually the day that RJ Garrish came into Philly to shoot the actual video, because that's in Philly, we hit like a bunch of landmarks in there, but that day was a 60-degree day in early January. So I think God just worked like everything out in a super special way for that to happen.
Have you been working on any projects on the side that you haven't and don't plan on producing anything like that? Just kind of in the meantime, you've been staying active, been kind of keeping your mind flowing in that same direction?
It's been sporadic, from time to time. I've been writing lyrics. I've got a lot of verses that I haven't put into songs yet that I want to use. I've just got to finish a bunch of those notes, that I've written down, and see how I can piece it together. And I want to be able to release a project, so that you guys can know what I'm about as an artist. I know some people liked the video, the first video we did, some people didn't, but I just want to cover all sides of myself on the project when that comes out. I can't say any specific date, but I do have a producer who said that he would work with me. He's like, I've known him for like 10 years. And so we'll just see what happens with that. I'll keep you guys updated, try to keep doing these videos, and that's what it is.
All right, and let's talk about the Black Youngster video. Of all the controversy that is surrounding that particular piece of artwork, what do you have to say in response to everything that's been going on, positive and negative, about that?
Well, I think there were misconceptions about what I was trying to say on the second verse. Probably some of those lines were not my place to say, because I mean, I actually do know a lot about the African American struggle in the U.S. And, you know, I'm from Chester, and so I grew up with, you know, I grew up with a lot of different types of people, but I always seen, you know, the black culture, and I've seen the way the police treat them, and I've seen a lot of those things, and so that was always something I want to talk about. But I think when I wrote that verse, it was just unfocused, and I didn't know what kind of point I was trying to get across. Because the name Black Youngster, like, that actually comes from when I was working at that job. I was working at a car place. So, some of the people there, they found out that I was trying to rap, and they also found out I stuttered, and so they kind of they wanted to name me a Black Youngster, and so I was like, so I don't think Black Youngster is gonna replace D Bizzy. But I still like, I wanted to put that as like a song title, and so I was just thinking, you know, I should make this into a song. And so I just basically explored those two words, Black and Youngster, and put my own experience in there, and I came up with what that song was. But there have been a couple of black people who I respect, who have told me that, you know, not to say things like that in the future. You know, to always have a point to what I'm saying, and so that's something that I want to improve on going forward with my music.
So Danny, like, there, you know, you alluded to a couple of things in your Black Youngster video. You know, what is your faith? What do you take your, what do you identify in? So
I'm a Christian, and man, just recently my faith has become so much more real to me. You know, through in the spoken word that I'm also putting out today, you know, that talks about my relationship with Jesus, and that's become so much more real to me after my father died. But his faith to the end was super inspiring. You know, he knew that he was gonna be with Jesus, and so that just made me, you know, take my faith and, you know, decide, is this real to me, and to really, you know, pray and speak to Jesus about this. And so that's made my faith super real. I have had problems with, you know, Christianity in America in the past, and just some preconceptions and I think misconceptions that sometimes the church has about certain things. Like, I mean, the church has a lot of bad blood towards hip hop, it seems like, and, you know, some people still don't even believe that music should be played in church, which I think is pretty outlandish, because David danced before the Lord and played the harp, and, you know, all these things that were in the Old Testament that Jesus commanded, and, you know, and he commands us to make a joyful noise unto him. And then like another thing also, I feel like the church, like, a lot of Christians are too quick to criticize what other people say, and sometimes another person might not know, they might be speaking from their own experience, and the way that people talk is dictated by, you know, their upbringing and the culture that they were brought up in. And so I feel like the church has even been like discriminatory based on certain people who don't talk a certain way and don't express their faith a certain way. So, you know, those are some of the things that I'm trying to bring to light through my music, because I always want to be conscious, and I want to try to free people's minds in that sense.
Danny, D Bizzy, in light of losing your father recently, what do you think? You know, and I guess, how will that impact your music, your work in a positive way? Because we all know you're gonna take it and you're gonna run with it. You know, how do you think that's gonna change your music?
Man, that was a really tough thing for my family. You know, he was the patriarch. He was a role model to all of his kids. He was a good husband. You know, he was a guy who most of the things he said were true facts, and he didn't speak much. He was you know, he was a model believer, and so our family has definitely lost something, but I think that all of us have learned something from that. And for me especially, I mean, that once I realized the signs that the Lord was putting in my path, you know, in connection with that, like he used that pain to make me realize that there's a healthy and an unhealthy way to deal with pain. And you might see something else from me, because the night of the memorial service for my father, I had already gotten tickets to go to a J. Cole concert. Shout out to J. Cole. You are one of my favorite artists and one of my inspirations for the lane that I want to be in. But he says something when he was doing an intro to Love Yours, and he talked about, you know, the thing that determines whether we're healthy, he said, is our ability to deal with pain. Are we doing that in a healthy way or an unhealthy way? And so that made me examine myself and really just realize my pain, you know, to myself, and allow myself to feel it. And, you know, so, you know, my father dying, of course, it's a loss for my family, but I think it's brought us closer together, and it's made me really realize my calling in life.
You kind of alluded to it before. You kind of mentioned, you know, your vision for, you know, what you want your music to be. Why is it that you make music? And what is like driving you to continue after, you know, putting something out and then taking so much heat for it? Like, why are you still here? What is causing you to like keep going? What's your drive?
Because I feel like it's the Lord's plan for me. You know, I believe that God has a plan for all of our lives, and we all have different skills that God has given us that he wants us to use in a certain way. And lately I've just been seeing the signs so much more. I believe, you know, if you have a relationship with Jesus and you can communicate with him, you can see so much more in your life, you know, that just is like crazy. And it seems like coincidence, but like right now, I just want to say on the record, there's no such thing as coincidence. Everything happens for a purpose. Everything is orchestrated by God. That's what I believe, and God has proven that to me over and over in my life. And so I believe that what I'm meant to be doing is teaching people through music. I've always had a thing for music. I've always loved music. I've loved to rap, but really my focus, what drives me is teaching people, and not in like giving a lecture or a sermon type of way, but working through things in my own life, and hopefully people can be inspired by that and can be touched by some of my words. And you know, that's my goal. If I can make a song that changes someone's life or changes their perspective on something, then I'm doing the right thing. So guys, I just want to inspire you to see what God's plan is for you, and what he wants you to do with your life. Examine what skills you have. All of us have skills. You know, don't ever sell yourself short in life. You know, there's always something that you can be doing. And you know, if you're doing what God has a plan for you to do, then that's what's going to be fulfilling. And you know, that's why someday I want to do this as like my job. You know, because that's what's going to fulfill me, if I can get this music across, and people can listen to it and hopefully be touched by it. And so I just want to inspire you guys to do what God's created you to do.